guys, did you know that Disneyland Park and California Adventure offer single rider lines? In this episode, I'm going to show you which rides offer that, as well as where to go. The first single rider line will be Space Mountain in Tomorrowland. The next one will be Matterhorn in Fantasyland. The third, Splash Mountain in Critter Country. And the fourth, Indiana Jones. On the map it shows New Orleans Square, but it's also considered in Adventureland. Okay, so the first one is going to be Space Mountain. Like I said, this one is in Tomorrowland. So as you enter into the park, you're going to turn to the right-hand side, and that is going to be Tomorrowland. You're going to pass by Star Tours off to the right, and then Astro Blasters, which is the Buzz Lightyear ride, off to your left-hand side. And you're going to keep making your way all the way close to the end of the end of Tomorrowland, I should say. Off to the right, you're going to have the gift shop right here. Then as you keep going, you're going to arrive at the exit of Space Mountain. As you can see, there's a whole line of people right here. You're going to go down that hallway all the way to the very end and take a left. And then you're going to keep going straight after that. You're going to pass off to the left-hand side where after you exit Space Mountain, you're going to see all your photos that are right there on the wall. You're going to pass through all of that. And then you'll get to the end of the hallway right there. And then once you see that, you're going to see a little sign off to the left-hand side that says single riders with an arrow pointing to a hallway down there. So that is where you're going to go to enter for the single rider line. So our family has never used the single rider line for this attraction, but I will show you. You can see the picture of the hallway that you go down as we are exiting the Space Mountain ride. So as you can see, our family as we're starting to exit. Once you get right here, you can see right straight past through there, off to the right-hand side on the right of the screen, you can see a hallway right there. That is the entrance to the single rider line. You can see kind of the white post that's right there that's kind of standing up. That's your sign right there, a stand-up sign that shows this is the single rider line and to go down that hallway. And then now you can see as we continue on that off to the left-hand side, that is where you can see your pictures of what was taken when you were on the ride. So the next attraction that offers single rider is going to be the Matterhorn. As you make your way to the entrance of Matterhorn, there should be a cast member or an employee there. He or she is the one that you're going to want to talk to say, hey, I would like to do the single rider. They will then issue you a ticket that says single rider on it. They will either bring you to the right-hand side or the left-hand side, whichever side needs more single riders, that's where they will direct you to. So this is an attraction that our family has taken advantage of, the single rider line. Half of our family loves this ride, half of our family does not love this ride. It is a very bumpy ride. So here's a picture of my three girls going on the bobsleds at Matterhorn. And you can see there's two of them that are the exact same color. They're kind of the greenish teal color. My two girls, they were actually on the same bobsled. So there was a family of four that went on. They put two in the front and two in the back. And then my two daughters just got on the third seat in each of those. So they were still actually able to go on the same bobsled. So that was really fun. It made the like an hour and a half line to a 5-minute line, and it was perfect. An extremely important thing to remember or to know about single riders is that you have to be at least 7 years old to be a single rider. Now that goes for any attraction on any ride at the Disneyland park. You have to be at least 7 to go on the ride by yourself. You also have to meet the height requirement. So if there is an attraction that does single rider, you're 7 years old but you don't meet the height requirement, then you can't go on the ride. You have to be both. You have to meet the height requirement, and then you also have to be at least 7 years old to go on the ride. So the next ride I'm going to show you, the single rider line, is Splash Mountain. Now this one is, like I said, is going to be in Critter Country. So as you make your way to Critter Country, you are going to pass the Hungry Bear off to the right hand side, and then off to the left you'll find like the fast pass for Splash Mountain. And then off to the right you will see Winnie the Pooh ride. And then you're going to keep going straight, and then as off to the left hand side, that's where you're going to start to actually enter into Splash Mountain, and that's also where the fast pass line is started, right here off to your left hand side. Now this is the entrance. Now you're going to keep going forward, and as you keep going forward off to the left hand side, you're kind of going to veer around. You'll see this little opening right here. That's where you exit. So that is where you're going to go for the single rider line as well. So kind of like Space Mountain, you're going to go through this exit. As you go through there, you're going to go over this bridge that is shown you here on the screen of actual footage of when we were on the ride. You're going to go over that bridge, and it'll take you down to the entrance of where all the other people that were in the regular line kind of waiting to get on board. So that's where you're going to go. So the fourth attraction that offers single rider line is Indiana Jones. Now this avatar is coming from Critter Country, from Splash Mountain, where I just showed you, and is passing through New Orleans Square. Now if you're coming from Main Street, you're going to take a left into Adventureland. That's how you're going to get to Indiana Jones. So as my avatar makes it past Pirates of the Caribbean, it's going to take a right, heading up to the Tarzan's Treehouse, and then just past the Tarzan's Treehouse, that's where you're going to find Indiana Jones. As you approach the entrance to the Indiana Jones ride, off to the left-hand side you will see it says standby entrance on that sign. Off to the right-hand side, one of those signs up there will say fast pass return. Right kind of in between there in the middle where it says TST, that's going to show the waiting time right now, how many minutes it's going to be for the regular entrance line. And just to the left of that, you'll see that blank sign right there. That sign is actually going to say something like, for single riders inquire here. So there's going to be a cast member that's going to be right there. You're going to go up to them and say, hey, I want to do single rider. They will issue you a ticket that says Indiana Jones single rider on it. And they are going to send you off to the left-hand side where the exit is. So this is another ride that takes you to the exit. Off to the right-hand side, that's where they're going to send the people who are for the fast pass return and also the regular standby entrance line. Now this ride does have a pretty long exit, so you're going to keep going all the way to the back until you see people getting off the ride. There should be a cast member there directing you where you need to be. Most likely you'll be getting up an elevator and then heading over the track and then back down the elevator to meet up with the regular standby line. Let's head over to California Adventure. Now this park also offers single rider lines to 4 attractions. The first one I'm going to show you is Radiator Springs Racers. This is found in Cars Land. This single rider line is pretty easy to find. Once you make your way through the very end of Cars Land, off to the right hand side you're going to see the entrance to Radiator Springs Racers. At that entrance you will see 3 separate lines. One will be for regular standby, the second one will be for those with fast passes, the third one will be for those trying to do single rider. That is the line that you are going to go through. The second attraction in California Adventure that offers single rider line is the Incredicoaster. Now the Incredicoaster is the big white roller coaster that's on the far south end of the park. You're going to be able to get to this attraction by going through Pixar Pier. To get to the main entrance of Incredicoaster, as you're walking through the pier, you're going to take a left and make your descend all the way down to the bottom. Off to your left-hand side, you're going to find the entrance to the Incredicoaster. Now to find the single rider line for the Incredicoaster, as you make your descent on the pier, you're not going to complete that descent. It's just right before the final descent off to the left-hand side. That's where you're going to find the single rider line. The next single rider attraction is Goofy Sky School. Now this attraction's pretty easy to find the single rider line. Just go up to the main entrance, tell the cast member that's right there at the front and say you're interested in doing the single rider, and they will lead you right where you need to go. The fourth and final attraction that offers single rider line in California Adventure is Grizzly River Run. I have never used the single rider line for this attraction, so my recommendation would be to, when you get up to the ride, go up and ask a cast member where the line is located for single riders. I do have two tips or two recommendations for this ride. On the Disneyland website, it does say that they do offer lockers free of charge for up to 2 hours, and they are located right next to the 20-foot bear. Now my second recommendation is if you do not like to get wet, buy a rain poncho. You can buy rain ponchos at the Disneyland park, but they can be pretty expensive. I have just gotten mine. If there's a Walmart located pretty close to you, in the sporting goods section, they have rain ponchos for $1. So that's what we always bring because they're really cheap and it saves us from getting drenched on this ride. So this concludes our episode of the 8 attractions in the Disneyland and California park that offer single rider lines. If this episode or tutorial was helpful for you, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to subscribe, we would love to have you be a part of our Disney Boot Camp family.